right there. So I'm going to go ahead and start the critique timer, and we'll start with the observations.
My goodness, that was loud. Shh.
All right. Okay, so a few things. I really like the different shapes that you're using in your design. I think that that's pretty neat. And it kind of brings that parts to make a whole idea. You've done a really good job with that, I think. One thing that I did notice is that you've got a lot of center alignment throughout your design. So that might be something that you think about, but it doesn't look bad. It looks good. So, but you might consider doing some left alignment or maybe even a right alignment on some of that. So I think that for part of that, you're going to want, we want to have you share kind of your message and your audience.
Okay. So kind of for me, explain the message, or that it needs more of it.
No, just as part of the critique, I think that that's part of that section for step 2.
Okay, so the message that I'm trying to convey is for leadership for graduates, and what I tried to do is where it says, "Do you want to have the competitive edge in business?" I kind of made that a little bigger and a little darker to kind of emphasize, do you want to have this? And then hopefully that draws enough interest to where they'll continue reading all the way down. And then I separated the part where space is limited to accentuate, hey, there's going to be a limited amount of space, so sign up now.
Excellent. That's perfect. Yeah, so looking at your poster, I think that you've definitely hit your audience for sure. I think it's a pretty like you've definitely brought forward the parts that people need, and those parts are easily read. I mean, I can tell that we've got a leadership conference, that space is limited, and that if we want a competitive edge in business, then we should show up. And I also like that you've kind of brought out the time and the date and where it's going to be at, and where we can get more information. You've highlighted all of those key points. And I think that your design definitely talks to people who would be graduating. It's a fluid design that is kind of trendy, I guess you might say, is a good word for it. So I think that that's good. It definitely catches the eye and draws in some attention. So
okay, all right.
So I think that in the next part, maybe if you want to offer some design alternative that is on the list.
So you were talking about things being centered. I can see that up here on the top of the Graduate Leadership Conference. One thing I was trying to do was, show a kind of contrast between the colors of the text in the background. Maybe what I can do is move that conference part over here. Maybe line up conference with, yeah, actually maybe do that. I can maybe make the word graduate bigger and move the conference to line up with leadership. So that way it accentuates the graduate, and then like next to it, leadership conference. So then it won't look as centered as it is here. Now, as far as the 3 light squares, I'm not sure if I want to off center that or not, because it kind of, at least to me, it shows that repetition, but it also, I don't know, it almost acts like a border in a way that kind of separates you from this part, from the top part to the bottom part with the volant communication. So
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that the three light squares are pretty good. Plus, they align with the left edge with your triangles that you have on the left edge.
yeah,
And so I wasn't quite as concerned about that as much as the graduate leadership conference, that heading,
yeah,
and then the do you want to have a competitive edge in business, that one's kind of centered, and then space is limited is centered underneath your body text as well. And so
okay.
that all of those are kind of centered, you know what I mean?
So when in regards to centering, I wasn't sure if they meant centering on the page itself. You know, because the graduate leadership conference is definitely centered on the page. But the other stuff on the side, I can't think of a. It looks pleasing to the eye that way, so I'm trying to think if I did anything different, would it? I don't know. Would it be distracting?
Sure. Okay. And
Maybe.
yeah, that I mean that may be you know, it may be a good way to go. So I I just was thinking about the center alignment idea and
Yeah.
trying to break that. And so you
I,
may
I definitely I definitely agree with you on the top part though, the graduate leadership conference. And a matter of fact, if I play around with that, I can actually make the graduate where it's that one color there, that gray color, and then leadership conference move it over to where that's in black.
sure.
Maybe not. Is that hard to read, do you think, the way I have the, because I mean, in a way, that's kind of like a gestalt because it's kind of showing you the whole thing with it being kind of broken up. So I don't know. Do you like that aspect of it?
I don't think it's hard to read. I think I like it. I think you did a good job with it. And you know, you brought in the black where it's got the white background, and then have that gray that matches up with some of the other grays that you have. And so I think it
Mm-hmm.
looks good. That
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So what I did is the gray and the graduate is the same gray that's on the squares.
Hmm.
Um, the triangle, that dark gray, is the same dark gray that is right above the picture. The smaller circle that I had to lighten up. It was the same as graduate, and it just didn't look right.
Okay.
Um, the upper triangles is a darker gray. What I thought was cool, and it just kind of worked out by accident, is the guy holding the laptop. Notice how it's kind of going into the rest of the white space.
Yeah, I did notice that.
I was like, "Ooh, happy accident! I like that."
Yeah, that's neat. It looks good. I agree.
And
So yeah,
what are your thoughts on the triangle part?
the triangle in the bottom left or the triangle in the top left?
Bottom left.
I like that. I think that you know, you've got those gaps in there that kind of repeat the gaps that are in your middle squares, and so I think it's a
Hmm.
good repetitive pattern. And it also repeats the triangle that you've got in the top left, and so I like it personally. I think it's
Okay.
a great addition. So
Awesome. All right. And the size and everything works. It doesn't need to be. Yeah, if I made it too big, it would take away the white space. So okay.
yeah, I agree.
Oh.
I mean, I think that you're borderline on busyness, but I don't think that this design is too busy. So I think that you've lightened up enough of the tones to make it so that it's not overbearing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
All right. Are we still on the last 2 minutes, or are we on the?
nope, we finished a little bit ago. So
Oh, okay.
yep. But are there any other points that you want to hit before we call it?
Um, no, I can't really think of anything.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, I guess the only other point was that I didn't use any of the strokes. I didn't use any strokes and stuff because of the one of the videos that I watched. That's part of the assignment where it says having strokes comes off as being unprofessional,
Sure.
which I don't know if I agree with that or not. I mean, I can kind of see it both ways. I think it's one of those things to where if you're going to break a rule, make sure you know when to break the rule.
Sure, yeah, I agree.
Because
But it
yeah,
could,
so it was like another thing that she mentioned in regards to like drop shadows.
right.
You know, you don't want to do drop shadows. That's unprofessional. But I don't know. Sometimes drop shadows can help make something stand out.
Yeah, I think that if you know, once in a while, I think that you can break those rules and still be all right. But,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this recording so you don't have too much to cut out whenever you go to edit it.
All right. That sounds good.
But so now, I don't know if that's actually gonna cut us off or not.
And that allows me to download videos. So
Okay, sweet. That'll be good then. Hey, I appreciate your time. Thanks for your help tonight.
yeah, yeah, I appreciate your help as well and your patience.
No, no, you're fine. You're fine. So,
All
uh,
righty.
yeah, we'll have to do it again.
Oh yeah, no, this was definitely fun.
Right. All right. Thanks.
All right. You bet. Take care.
You too.